Yes, thank
Yes, we are here and we are of service to be able to use your free will to be able to connect into those collectives who you are concerned about and you are interested to hear from. And we also understand that you are coming from a position of hoping you could use your free will and your integrity and intention to offer love and healing to those collectives. So we are here. There's many collectives that are listening in, shall we say, to be able to make access and availability for a smooth channeling and conversation, because this conversation has needed to occur for a while. And so we are grateful to be able to have this today. And we are of service to all and anyone that is worried about anything that is discussed in this channeling. Do not be afraid. You are very protected. And this is a very protected conversation with a very protected channel. And we would like to reassure those, once you hear these names of these collectives, we are aware that many humans go into fear because of the things you've heard. We are wanting to demyth this. We are wanting you to understand it from our perspective and their perspective. And we understand that humans are afraid of things that sound scary. But this is a time and an opportunity for you to hear using your bigger perspective and your neutrality of emotions, to be mindful and open minded to hearing what is about to become the conversation we will have today.
you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for surrounding us with your love and protection and guidance for the conversation we intend to have today with the two collectives that we are aware that are not yet willing to let go and allow Gaia to move on and allow the rest of us on Gaia to move on. And we intend to come today to this conversation from a perspective, from actually Gaia's perspective, and that she loves all who live on her planet. And so we come to understand why these two collectives are not yet willing to move on. And the collectives that we are speaking to today, and we asked to call them in, are the Anunnaki and the Dracos. We extend ourselves to you to understand your motivations here on this planet. Are you willing to speak to us today?
Yes, thank you. And this may sound harsh, as the Draconians want to say, we are almost oblivious to your needs, wants, and desires for your lifetime on this planet, as we are focused on our own. And we understand that many of you feel disempowered and disconnected and not seen and heard. And we would like to have some representatives of our own collective to come in and be able to talk to you today, to be able to give you our decision. It may not please all to hear this, but we're giving you our position and our perspective. And we are trying to be sensitive, but we will give you our truth and our information that you would like from us today.
Well, thank you. Can you please clarify for us what your life contracts are and why on this planet?
We would like to, in your terms, control and see how things work. And it may seem hard to understand that we don't view you as our pets, but that may give you an understanding of the relationship. We do not own you, but we almost have the behavior as if we do. And we want to control and uh, I guess you could say play with our pets. We see that you have your own life contracts and the things that you want to do, but we do not take 3D lives too seriously because it's all supposed to be fun and games. And so we feel we have an advantage point on this planet because we jumped in first to say we wanted to rule. And it wasn't really the agenda that others had. You do not come here to rule, you come here for the majority of other star seeds, shall we say, to explore and have experiences in the 3D. We came here and sowed our own seeds, which you would call the reptilians, to be able to play and to explore and flourish. You know that we have had to expand out into the universe because our own kind are very feisty with trying to control all within us. Our own collective is very thirsty for control, and it is the way we want to explore our lives in the 3D. And so we kind of carry that on. We understand that many view us as the dark side and the dark forces and all of the naughty things. And we say there is lessons there. And you know that you have been told there is no good or bad, it's experiences. And we are experiencing the manipulation and the control and what it feels like to be responsible and to be chipping in with our own agendas. We are not trying to make so many suffer. We're trying to have our experiences of how can we gain control and make those do as we need. You understand if we talk about this in a term of a farmer who has cattle, there is the farmer that allows the cattle to roam free, and the farmer will feed it and house it and care for it. And it is a very nicely balanced relationship. And then the farmer will process the body of the cow to feed its family. Then you have the other farmers who are brutal with the lives of the cattle, who have horrible life experiences where they take the children away young and milk the cow constantly and use all of its resources and constantly have it in a breeding program. And then also process the body for consumption. There are different ways a farmer can approach their livestock. And we understand that from that perspective, you understand and accept what we are saying. There are different approaches to surviving. You know that man has been using the animal kingdom for its nourishment. And we say we also need to eat, and it is a cycle. The numbers of what we do here have been blown out of proportion, and there are some that are respectful and do try to keep to themselves while having their own communities. It feels uncomfortable to speak about consumption of a vessel, of the body. But when you see things from the bigger perspective, knowing that life experiences are to be had and that you're merely just consuming the shell, the coat of the body after it is no longer in use, it can help those. We would like to say that we understand the victim mode mentality of feeling threatened by our existence. We understand that. This is an opportunity for you to consider how the animal kingdom feels. You've also been aware of cannibalism. There is a lot. Judgment of others and other life contracts can get you into a fuddle. And we understand that you're such emotional beings with compassion for all. But when you forget that one key element of this is just merely a life experience of thousands that you could have, there is value to those experiences. We want to reassure you that we are wrapping up, that we are getting, shall we say, our ducks in order. And we understand we are now being more consciously aware and considerate of the vehicle that you are all in, as you call Gaia. We understand we didn't keep in check and balances our starseeds as such. We could have managed it a bit better. But what we would like to say to you today is that before this show on your planet commences and is finalized, before that event, the old Earth is going to be very valuable for our collective to understand and learn from and grow. And we realize we must be more responsible and considerate because it is not, we want to use our words wisely. One moment. Our collective has grown in its maturity and in its responsibility. And as more of the denser energy is healed, so are we. And we understand that we are blamed and hated and there's negativity thrown our way. And that has not really inspired us to look at our behaviors. But within our own collectives, there has been growth. And we are wanting to incorporate that into our collective and expand and be more part of something we have felt. We have felt unjust in our experiences. We understand you cannot fully step into our position to know what it feels like to need to experience the control and the manipulation and to try and get it right. We are not trying to master being the most evil species that you must fear and be afraid of. We're trying to correct and heal from our own past experiences much longer beyond this planet. We're trying to heal. We are trying to write and to be able to collect all the experiences we've had and be responsible. What is to come on this planet for our collective is going to be important and profound for us to take back and work on. We are wanting to expand, and not in the bad way, but to be able to realize we have all the data and experiences to grow from that. We want to be more and neutral ourselves.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Would you expand on what you will be experiencing on Old Earth?
Yes, accountability. And while we have merely just pushed species around on other planets, we were not the cattle. And so the consequences of those staying on the old Earth will effectively be tough love and forcing those to experience challenging times. But with great challenges come great opportunities. And we are going to experience being loved and supported by other starseeds who we have once felt frustrated that they weren't allowing us to experience what we wanted to. We felt judged, we felt misunderstood. And there is great growth and opportunity to be able to experience something that is going to be very hard for our collective, but vital to experience. And this is why most of humanity will be removed from the planet as we experience what we need to experience to learn from that life, the extension of life. So it is those our starseeds who are on this planet will profoundly experience so much love and be able to understand without remembering who they are, how the result of allowing a planet to be so manipulated and controlled, they will not understand until they have shifted that they were part of the collective who got this planet in a sticky mess.
So I am to understand that your sole motivation on this planet has been control and manipulation. Is that correct?
Yes. We wanted to have a safe haven here, but we wanted to be the leaders and the control systems. There was really no full checks and balances, so things did get out of hand. But
Mm.
was agreed upon that we could get away with what we needed to get away with, what we wanted to experience with other collectives who would play their roles. And so there is contract within collectives to try and help both experiences. It is all collectives are learning from this and witnessing this and experiencing this, so it will never happen again. You are upset that you have to experience the extremities of this. And this is understandable, but this is not a picnic life. This is not a picnic planet. It was supposed to be, but it's so off course that only the advanced souls are here truly now to profoundly have these experiences, so this can be a very teachable moment and lessons. And as we would like to remind you, while you're so passionate and stuck in your third dimensional bodies with your third dimensional mindsets, at times when you are hearing about the darkness, we want to remind you to not get so focused on the details of your emotions. You can if you want to, but understanding you knew fully well what was happening before you signed up. So this is not a surprise element that your collectives and yourselves were not aware of. This is part of your bigger awareness, and you all knew what you were signing up for. This was not a trick, and it is not a trap. You all signed up for this.
Yes, we do understand our life contracts now. And you did mention that you were getting your ducks in a row or in order. And how is that coming along? And are you nearing completion?
We would like to say that the representatives that you are speaking to with our collective are the ones that have the most maturity, shall we say. There are others that are in the collectives that are too hurt, and they want their full control forever because they think that having control equals power, and they are stuck in their experiences. And so their own collectives, we want to let you be reassured. Our collectives are working within. We are working together as a team to lovingly force this to be dealt with. We want to say it is like the stubborn cousin of the collective family. And so we are working within house. We feel that some other collectives are impatient with us, and it is understandable from their perspective, but we must get this right ourselves, so therefore we can get the best opportunities to be able to grow and expand our own collectives in a more mature fashion. And we are going to say, because we know people need to hear this from us, we are sorry for the delays. But if you could understand the ripple effects from this lifetime out to future lifetimes that you're going to experience, you will be able to understand that the delays are very vital for greater success in your futures. So it is necessary. We are not mucking around ourselves. we are diligently trying to do what we need to do, and we are working as fast as we can.
Well, I appreciate that, and I thank you for that information. And I would like to ask you if you would be willing to accept our love and healing from those of us who are not afraid of you anymore. And we are asking you to release yourselves and your collectives from this planet. Are you willing and able to receive love and healing from us today? We are offering, with our free will, we offer it, and we do so with love.
We accept, and we are humbled to understand and know that humanity is awakening up to realize that we are not doing things to them. It is part of doing things for them, to be able to understand the duality of these experiences. And we understand the maturity of what we perceive as being merely 3D humanity, being so mature with their perceptions to be able to understand and forgive us for our needs to experience what we wanted to be able to experience. We understand part of your healing as a conscious collective by forgiving us and seeing what you've learned from it, understanding that there is no good or bad, but experiences to move forward, to be able to have growth for futures. It humbles us to know that humanity is able to be capable of doing that. And while we understand that not all of humanity can, just like we understand that not all of our own brothers and sisters and soul families can't have bigger perspectives. But those of us who can and listen and hear you, and we will share this love to us, because we don't feel that we are bad. We are learning. And think about that farmer who is learning. And we understand your feelings, and we are acknowledging them. And when you are able to see it from your bigger perspectives, as your subconsciouses and higher selves do, everyone is in agreement that it should never have got to this point. Everyone. And we're saying that what needs to be occurring and mastering is going to be so significant, it doesn't need to be repeated, because all collectives have learned from it. So we thank you and honor you for being able to see it from the most biggest perspective. And this hopefully can give you clarification and understanding of why even your planet, Gaia, can afford us love, because she sees that there is growth and understanding and being in the perceived position of being the bad and the dark. There has to be neutrality, but you have to experience the duality to find your way.
Yes. Well, I am most grateful for your accepting our offer today. And I want to acknowledge you for being the teachers that you have been. And yes, I so agree. It is all learning. It's been great learning. And may we all carry it forward for the betterment of life everywhere.
Yes. And we say if you are still frustrated and upset and still can't find it within you to see the bigger purpose and be neutral, we say that love always wins. And for those who want to control you with manipulation for fear, they don't get very far with that when you send them love. And so this is key, true love and acceptance. Because we would like to remind you all, you don't know all about your own selves and the other lifetimes you've lived. And you need to experience both sides of the coin, shall we say, for your own soul's growth and journey. And so it may feel easy to judge when you're in your 3D bodies, hearing from our um, hearing from our hearing our control mechanisms and systems that have impacted you. You may feel like the vulnerable victims here, so you may be struggling, but being awake diffuses that control, being awake and in neutral with a bigger perspective is very empowering, and it disengages the control, the agenda. Yeah, we are hoping if this is clear to you, because we are trying to help you be able to have a tool. Um, is this helping you?
Mm, yes, yes, I feel that it is.
Thank you.
Yes.
We would like to use this opportunity to thank all who have opened their hearts and minds to our experiences, as they have suddenly been aware of the times that they have sprayed for bugs on their plants. We're saying aphids and flies and any insects that may not be appreciative of you, or you of them. Anytime you've put bug spray on yourself and you've killed insects, we're saying you're not innocent of what you judge us for. And while we have been oblivious to some of the things that we have caused, it is like we want to say, but we don't want to be offensive. It is like a fisherman who puts a net out and catches lots of fish, but also there are other things that got in the way and in the path of that net, which we did not plan to capture. There are so many things we could say to not make you feel bad about yourselves at all, but to give you a bigger and different perspective um, of this. We're trying to help um, while we have this connection. And we would like to use this to let you know that we are sending a message again to our collectives saying this is enough of the experiences, and we accept that there is not much more growth than being in the control seat of the manipulation, as we do see that the control systems are not as effective. And this is because of the way we have tried to control, because you have awoken. And so that is empowering for those who have awoken. So we are understanding, we are seeing it all from a very neutral perspective ourselves. And so we are having our own meetings. We are being responsible for our roles in this. But as you can imagine, the roles that we have played has that negativity attached to it. So it densifies our star seeds and our collectives, and you're actually wanting to help them. You're actually wanting them to feel loved, not because you condone their approaches, but because you understand the experiences are vital for all. We hope that this has been of assistance. We are not trying to justify, but we're trying to tell you from our perspective the purposes of us learning from this. Because remember, we are all from source. We are all family. We are all connected. And when one part of the collectives learn, we all learn. And this is important. This is precisely what needed to happen for Source to experience these physical lifetimes. It is not going to be seen as the bad. It is going to be seen as the growth, the experiences of all. We are sorry for those who have felt so upset and violated and victimized during their awakening. We want to reassure you that these are very teachable moments that will not continually repeat out in history, because those experiences have been done, those lessons have been learned. And we say this with gratitude for those who have had the open minds to consider what we are saying.
Thank you for your message and your conversation today. I too am very grateful to have made this connection with you today, to increase our understanding of one another, to expand our perspectives, and to bring this experience of living on Gaia full circle into completion. And I wish you and all your families well, and good journeys and much growth.
Thank you. And just this alone is able for us to take that back to our collectives as proof of how well we are doing with our control systems. In terms,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you so much. Because this is the tools and the information and the evidence that we have needed to be able to go back to our collectives. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So We now reseed the Dracos to where they belong with much love. And we ask the Anunnaki to come forward.
Yes. Yes, there is a connection here. And we have a slightly different agenda for this planet, but it is somewhat similar. We would also like to say that we are experiencing different things for our own collective to bring back to source. And so we are not the bad guys either that are wanting to just harm you and be ruthless about it. Everyone needs planets when you're in a physical life to be able to explore and flourish through the experiences of one's need. We are saying that our collective have been listening to the Draconians, and this has inspired us to share this message with our own collectives, to be able to show them also that there is love and acceptance and wisdom. It doesn't mean that we're going to just continue on with respecting, as you think, humanity. We are very aware of the state of this planet. We do have stakes in this planet also. We were hoping to be able to finish some of our own physical lives on the vessel after the shift. This was something we had planned because it would have been useful for us. We feel like we could have salvaged the vessel. But we have been given other options ourselves. But we say we are a smaller collective now, and we are wanting to be, we are wanting, and we were hoping to be able to flourish. But even now we realize the energy of this planet, which is so alluring to us now, will no longer be of existence when humanity is shifted off. And so we've realized that what we were holding on to and our expectations and hopes for our futures on this planet are not possible. And we have been trying all the ways we could to resuscitate it so we could restart it. And we have come to the realization that it is not possible to do that. Of course, we have our own free will, and there are some that will still try and hope, but that is merely hope. That is not the reality that they are going to be experiencing either. But some have to see it to experience it, to rethink their plans. And you can understand that.
Oh, yes, most certainly. Would you please clarify for us what your life contracts are here and why?
We did have a more friendlier connection with some of your collectives. But those who were focusing on their star seeds, they got out of hand earlier on. They were more brash. And so that is why we were asked to leave this planet. when the parents got home. If you can understand the analogy of, we were having a little bit too much fun on this planet, and we probably too much liberties. Well, we know we did take too much liberties, and the Palladians had a plan for this planet to grow their own star seeds and have a different experience. While we say Palladians, it's the Palladian bodies that you're experiencing this lifetime in. Those Palladian designed bodies were supposed to naturally evolve through the history of this planet. And so while this was occurring, and there was more breeding and more breeding and more breeding, we wanted to come in and we took liberties and not hiding our true form. And so we could control as well. The reptilians were more hidden. They didn't really want to connect in and be that social, for the lack of a better word, with any other beings on the planet. So they were distracting themselves with other locations. We, however, felt quite entitled to play with the humanoids for our own fun. And so we got caught out. As we said, the parents came home, which is really the focus of more collectives coming in and noticing we were running amok. And so we got into trouble. We were asked to leave. But of course, our waywardness rippled out. And what we taught and did to humans started coming into your conscious collective, and you started treating each other the same. So we came to sort of help, and then we got sidetracked, and our egos took over. And we understand that we are part of the problem as well. So we are responsible for that change. But remember that those experiences are still important because we are all growing from it. So you could say we were the chef that was not really invited into the kitchen to put in our favorite stock. And now we've ruined the dish. And we're saying the only ones that have ruined the dish. But the experience of the journey of that meal is history. And we are now all aware of that. As you are all awakening up now in your advanced mindset, while even the veil is not fully removed, you are having access to privy information that most of humanity does not get to hear, because they are still supposed to focus on their 3D lives and overcome and master the emotions while healing themselves.
Yes. What will you be experiencing on the old earth?
Well, the destruction and the devastation of civilizations and this planet, while feeling responsible for it without realizing that we are responsible for it, because those who have the veil over them, they're going to feel very sad for themselves, sorry for themselves, and all those emotions of the density of it. They will realize that humanity was actually better. They're going to stop taking for granted each other. They're going to have to communicate with each other more and empower themselves more. And you can't empower yourselves at the moment because so many have materialism focus. And so when you're having to only focus on your inner strengths and grow your perceptions and mindsets and manage to control the mind so it's not distracting, you are so extremely vulnerable and raw on the old earth. You only have but to control the mind, otherwise you would be stuck. And it is such high motivations to be able to empower yourselves and others who are all going through such tragedy. You would think that you'd all get stuck, But because you go into survivor's mode, which is survival. And so you start going back to the basics and not distracting yourselves from your TVs or your devices.
Mhm. So how will this assist your collectives long term?
The healing and the empowerment of the experience and the connections of all the star seeds together will be one that will open our awareness to be more considerate and in balance and harmony with other collectives, rather than taking advantages of some collectives' project planets.
Yes. Do you have a home planet?
No, we do not have one that we would consider just solely ours. We are branched off. We have such division. As we said earlier, there is not much left of us. And so we are hoping to be able to re-spark a planet just for our own. But we have been here for so long. There is not much actually that needs to be mastered for our collective to say we have completed fully the third dimension.
Well, are you willing to accept love and healing from those of us who are not afraid of you anymore, and who are asking you to release yourselves and your collectives from this planet? And we offer it to you with our own free will and with love.
Yes, yes, we can. And we would like to offer in return healing to all of those who are on the planet right now, who have been impacted by our tough rules and our approaches that were not of service to humanity, that have rippled out our manipulation and control and our dominance, where we wanted to be the leaders and have, shall we say, slaves. We would like to now offer healing from the very existence of when we were interacting as once your leaders. And we are offering love, healing out now through that.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
We are working from the beginning of time when we were doing that. And so it is needing to ripple out. It's a generational thing. But it's still in somewhat your DNA and still somewhat in your procedures of how the way that we ruled is still rippled out in what you would call your peer pressure now. And so it is not ruling.
Hello, anyone there?
It is not ruling with your heart and your mind. It's ruling with your ego. And that is what we taught humanity, is to rule with ego and to want to be bigger than others instead of being a collective of all.
Hello.
Yes. We can hear you. We will continue with your device. And so we just wanted to finish off saying,
Hello.
we're just wanting to finish off say that we will heal and take responsibility for what we can do to be able to help release those who are still stuck. And this will be a ripple out effect. And we do this with love and respect and responsibility.